Obviously in his life, the Messiah born 1976. So, he had his wife. So, in the early 2000s, remember like around the 2000s, all the way up until Obama came into office and left really, yeah, like say the first term of Obama, right before like 2012. That's why they said 2012, the world was going to end, because that's when the world really did end. That's when everything came to a halt. And after 2012, remember, as it's written anyway, the Lord said that he was going to speed up the time for the elect's sake. So notice kind of after like 2012, remember they already said the calendar ended, the Mayan calendar ended 2012. And then after that, notice time started kind of speeding up, especially once Obama got out of office. Time, look, it's already been 5 years since the pandemic. So you see how fast time is really just strolling, because it's like, it's like everything going through that great reset that their kingdom is coming to an end. The devil knows his time is short. So remember around that 2000s, remember it was a lot of fighting. Remember during that time, it was heavy fighting, like movies, like, you had like a lot of rappers. Like remember DMX was with Jet Li fighting on Cradle to the Grave. You had Steven Seagal, obviously in the 90s too, but really in the 2000s, there was a lot of fighting stuff going on. They had the Def Jam fight from New York, a lot of rappers fighting, because, that rapping just goes into that christening, that embalming that be put in that King's Chamber. So you remember around that time, the rappers was fighting a lot. Remember during that era, what was it, the celebrity death match? It was a lot of stuff going on dealing with fighting. And it was heavy clubbing, because remember, people used to go to the clubs to fight, because that club it all goes to blaspheming how Christ will hold the rod. Obviously, so the clubbing is serious when you understand what's really going on. So, and during that time too, I don't even really have to play the lyrics like that, but during that time too, remember you had a lot of songs where women was throwing their men out the house. Remember you had that song with Ashanti and Terrence Howard. Remember how she threw him out the house on that song? What was it, Foolish or something like that back in the day, early 2000s, around like 04ish, I think, 03 maybe, somewhere up in there. Remember Ashanti was throwing Terrence Howard out the house because they already know they was trying to attack. Like I said, they always war against the woman. So, they tried to war against, the Messiah's household with his wife. So they always try to have that war. The devil always trying to separate the marriage. He want that split. That's what he desired to happen during that era in time. You know what I mean? Trying to set that seed, to war against, like it says, like, he was going to, as it's written, the devil was going to go to war against the seed of the woman. So, as it's written, remember how you always try to attack the Messiah, you want him alone, I mean, they had this kind of like 2010-ish, but I remember they had that song by that Zoe Kravitz when she told me, give me the house key. I don't care about you. I can get another you. I can get another man that look like you. I don't need you, and you don't need me. Just give me the house key. You can leave it at the front door or whatever she said, something like that, under the doormat or something like that. And people were like, that's sick, you know what I mean? And that's why I can just get another you. I don't care, I get another man that looks like you. You know what I mean? And that's the stuff they do. That's what they was trying to do. Remember Neo was doing that Miss Independent? They was really trying to push that heavy. They wanted that. They want the Messiah alone, You can't save everyone. You know what I mean? You gave your life, but you can't save everyone. That's what they want to war. So you want the war against them close and personal, That's why you even had the INDEPENDENT by that Webby and that Lil Boosie. Remember during that time? It was a lot of trying to push that Miss Independent stuff heavy during that era. You don't need who is he, You saying you with the Son of God, you with God in the flesh, you leave him behind, go get your bag,